when we woke up, they were all around. We could hear sounds of guns. And I was supposed to leave Bor that morning, heading back to Juba. The rebels had taken the Bor airport. And what I saw, I've never seen it in my life. I could see dead bodies rotting. There was no one to correct the bodies. So they were rotting around the roads. We survived on 300 ml of water per day.
Where?
So it was tough.
Pearl Radio, the home of fresh and classic hits.
So privileged to have a man who has been a family friend, who actually we have worked together. Hey, even before I got married, this man knew me. I'm talking about Pastor Stephen Wachira from Firstborn Christian Church, and he's already live here in studio. Yes, Pastor, maybe you can come close to the mic. Najua producer wangu anashangaa. Yes, so yes, Pastor Stephen Wachira, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Unakaa fiti. I love the pink color.
Thank you.
Yes, how have you been?
I'm well in the Lord. God has been so good to me.
Yes.
And I've made him my shepherd.
Awesome.
Yes.
It's been, okay, I think the last time that we were together, it was last year.
Yes.
It was last year around December.
Yes.
And, we had a good time. Just tumetoka mbali. But karibu sana to the reset.
Yes.
And we are ready to hear your testimony. But even before we get to do that, maybe for those who don't know you, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Pastor Stephen Wachira. I pastor at Firstborn Christian Church, and I love the Lord. Our church is located at Fort Smith on your way to Gitaro. After this university is called Ruakabete University campus. So, and God has been so good to me, and I love the Lord for what he has done in my life, and I'm ready to testify of his goodness.
Awesome. Remember, we are live on www.pearlradio.co.ke. Make sure you follow this conversation, and I'm sure you're going to be blessed. So, Pasi.
Yes.
Let us start even to get to know you a little bit. Pasi, where have you been born? Umezaliwa kutoka eneo gani, and also how many are you in your family as well?
Well, I'm born at Gatondo, and we are very many in our family. I'm born by parents who are giving birth to many children.
Yes. In
our home, we were 12.
12? But
currently we are 10.
So you are the 12 disciples.
Yes. Yes. So
are you are the second born or the third born?
I'm the last born.
Yeah.
I'm the 12th.
You don't look like. So if you are the 12th born, then I'm just wondering, the first born, hey, wait, basi. Hey, mulikuwa wengi. Na muko wengi bado.
Yes. Hey. In actual fact, when I was growing up, I did not get that good relationship with the firstborn because he was already employed when I was born.
Okay.
And he's around close to 80 years right now. Our firstborn.
Awesome.
Yes.
And now, how was life being raised in Gatondo, the 12 of you?
Well, our family and my parents, they used to work hard, and we had enough. I cannot complain because they had enough to, and they used to provide for us. And we grew together as a family. Though I think I grew knowing the last like 3 or 4. The others were big, and even today, some of them I see them like my parents. Yes, because they are already aged. Yes.
How about your school life? Which school did you attend to? High school and both are primary?
Well, when I got to the age of going to school, I went to Wamita Primary School in Gatondo South.
Wamita?
Yes, Wamita.
Wamita?
Yes, Wamita. And after that, I proceeded to Kahuguini Secondary School. Yes.
And how were you in school? Were you a good boy?
Well, I was a good boy because I grew up in a Christian family. So I was taught about God at a very tender age. I used to go to Sunday school, and I got saved when I was, I think, in class 4.
Class 4?
Yes.
You got saved when you were in class 4?
Yes.
Some of us to go class 4 to come. But that is so good that indeed your parents, they really raised you well in the Lord.
Yes.
And now after completing school, what did you decide to pursue? How was life now after school?
After completing school, I came to Nairobi, and I've done a lot of jobs. But before then, I went to a college. I studied computer engineering. Thereafter, I've done more on telecommunication engineering, and God has been so good to me. But I have done hawking in Nairobi. I've hooked hangers, these hangers that we hang clothes.
Yes.
I've done that, and God has been so good. So far, I've seen God in my life. Yes.
And so now after, because many people usually perceive that when you finish, you're supposed to, unaendanga hivi kama umepata kazi. How was your struggle in this industry?
It wasn't that easy because like hawking, I did hawking for I think a month, and I could not make it in that in that job. And I could buy a shoe, but within a week the shoe could have been finished because of moving around Nairobi. And after that, I got employed by a company in Nairobi. I was a driver for I think 5 years. After that, I got employed in an IT company in Westlands. I worked there for 7 years. And after that, I started my own business. And currently, I'm doing my own business. Yes.
Awesome. And even onto that as well, in this same period, this is the period that also you got married?
Yes. When I got married is after I got my first permanent job as a driver. That is when I got married.
Okay.
Yes. And after a few months after marriage, I got now another job that was well paying. And my due then, I think it was around year 2004, I was in a job, and the money that I used to get was so little that half of it was going to house rent.
Wow.
Half of it. Yes, and it is during that period that I got married. But let me tell you, I have seen God in my life. I know I don't doubt him because I have seen him work in my life from there. And when I got a better job, I got promoted. I did not do driving now. I became an engineer because I had studied computer engineering, and after that I did telecommunication engineering. So I was employed as an engineer. And I've moved all over Kenya and outside Kenya while working in that company. Yes.
Allow me to take a little bit back, because we are still in the month of love.
Yes.
In this whole season,
yes,
especially this week, unasema there's a lot of pressure. Kama utanipeleka mahali ninunulie maua. Talk to us about, share with us your love story. How did you meet your wife?
Well, by then I was a youth member, not even in any position, and my wife was a prison worship team, and I used to see that girl singing there. I could admire her.
Which church?
Firstborn
now.
Yes. I've been there for long. So after some time, I went to talk to her. But let me tell you, she did not accept.
Alikuambia nini?
Aliniambia kwanza tuombe. Let me tell you, it took 5 years to get married.
So, uliomba for 5 years, ama?
Yes. But no, we used to after around 2 years, alikubali. Yes.
So you're waiting for 2 years for an answer.
So yes, and na ile tuliweza kumit wakati nilimuuliza the first time. Tuliweza kumit vizuri ati tuongee na yeye after I think 3 or 4 months. I don't know how life was then. But I thank God today she is my wife.
Wow. But I'm just stuck, and I'm just wondering because in this era ukiambiwa no unasema acha ikae. But for you are very patient with your wife and waiting for the response even 2 years, and in as much you felt the conviction that God is leading you to this woman.
Yes, can I tell you something? I remember when I was in I think from 2 or 3,
yes,
I started praying for my family, even not knowing if I'll get one. So when I met my wife, I could tell she's the one. And let me tell you, I persisted until she became mine. Yes.
And talk to us about now the journey of also the testimony of also getting married. How was it back then?
Well, then it was not like nowadays. We started our committees, and then the committees then could not fetch a lot of money. Remember, I was not in a very good employment. So by then I used to earn, I think, around 3,800
Per month?
That is, yes, per month.
Which year?
It was around 2006.
3,800.
Yes.
We, you know, just in single rooms.
So ni ile tu ilikuwa kung'ang'ana. But I thank God, because I remember when I got my firstborn, we had a certain challenge. I did not have even enough money to cater for her hospital bill. And that is when I started seeing God working in my life. I went to pray and I prayed God, and somehow God made a way. And after that, when my firstborn was growing up, he had a health problem, that I did not know how to go about it. That was taking almost everything that I used to earn. But after some time, when I got now a better job, my son went for an operation in Nairobi Hospital now then, and today my son is well. He's in Form 3.
Form 3?
Yes.
Amazing. That is very, very powerful. Now, talk to us about this job, because you mentioned about this job that, you've been doing in IT. How did you get this job, and also how were you able to be sent outside the country to go and also make sure you continue with the same work?
Yes, from a driving job, I got that job. I remember I was working in one of the buildings in town, and I had told one of my friends to get me a job.
Yes.
And at that point, I got a call from my friend telling me to go to a certain company in Westlands. They are looking for an IT personnel. So I remember I left my job, I went there, and I got interviewed, and I got my job as an IT engineer. From there, after I worked for a few months, I was given my first assignment. My first assignment, I was taken to Dadaab refugee camp. That is when Al-Shabaab was striking in Somalia. And it's
which year is this now?
That is around, it was around 2011 there.
Okay.
And I was taken there. I remember all the engineers that we had in our office, they could say, no, you're not going there. And I was told, because I was new, I was told to go there. And I accepted. I went there. I did my first assignment. And the place was hostile. I remember in the place I was working, I was told by the manager, don't move around, because you can be easily attacked.
And let me ask, at this time you're still married?
Yes, I was married.
For how long now? At that time?
I got married in 2007. So it was around 4 years in marriage.
4 years in marriage.
Yes.
You also had kids at the same time, time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I finished that assignment. I came back to Nairobi. And after several years, several months, I got another assignment. I was taken to South Sudan. That is around 2013. I had worked in other several places, but the one that I would want to speak about, it is when I went to South Sudan in 2013.
In 2013?
Yes. It was around December.
Yes.
And I had gone to do several assignments. Remember, in telecommunication, we were dealing with banks. Even some of the major banks in Kenya I have done. And there I was sent to do certain banks in South Sudan, and they were very new in South Sudan. And when I went there, I landed in Juba. And I started my work well. For the first week, the work was running on well. And I remember in South Sudan, the first Sunday that I was there, I did not go to church. I decided to have my own time in my room, praying, doing all the things, and reading the Bible. And I remember that is the first time that when I did not know, because the Spirit of God was so heavy on me that first Sunday. Remember, most of the churches there, they don't use English. And that's why I decided to skip and have my own devotion in my house, in my room. And God ministered to me. I remember I started it at around 10. But I can tell you, 12, I was in O'Neill's praying. And the Spirit of God was heavy on me. And that time God ministered to my life. I did not know what will happen later. And come Monday, I went on with my business. The whole week was good. But after some time, I think that I had to move to another stop that is called Bor. Bor is over 1,000 kilometers from Juba. South Sudan is very big. And is one of the places that is very rich in fuel, or what we call oil. And when I went there, I was to do that assignment on Sunday. And after that, on Monday, I was supposed to take the next plane to Juba morning. So when I went there, I did my job.
So your residence is in Juba? In
Juba.
But this one was just a workstation?
Yes, it was a workstation. But because it was a bit far, they had a plan for me to spend in Bor. Then in the morning, I go back to Juba.
Okay.
So I used to operate from Juba. So when I went there, I was booked in a hotel in Bor in the evening after I completed my work. And as usual, sisi wa Kenya, ukienda mahali unatafuta wa Kenya wenzako, unaanza kuongea. It's a new place. I found some friends, young girls and men from Kenya, and we started to have time together in the evening. I remember we were in a place mahali kulikuwa na kamakuti hivi, tunachapa tu stories za Kenya nini. So we stayed at around midnight. That hotel is one of ile hoteli kubwa huko Juba, in Bor, that is. Nikaona polisi wamekuja. Police came. We were just talking. And remember, these girls were working in that hotel, so they know the rules and all the regulations. Our polisi wakakuja wakatuambia, you should go to sleep. And the girls told me, why are they telling us? This is not what we do. We've never been told to go and sleep. You can even spend the whole night outside. No one should ask you.
Yes.
But we noted there's something unusual. And after kuuliza, we were told that the war has broke in Juba, where I left in the morning. And now they wanted to overturn the government. One part of, in Sudan, there are two major tribes, Nuels and Dinkas.
Nuels and Dinkas.
Yes. And the president belonged to one of the tribe and the deputy belonged to a different tribe. And now they wanted to do a coup. And they were using the army of South Sudan. So it was army that was fighting, not the common mwananchi. So we were told to go and sleep. Something has happened in Juba. In the same hotel that I was, it is one of the big hotels there, and we had even senior men in the government that were in that hotel at that time. So when we were told to go and sleep, and we were told something has happened in Juba, there's a coup, we went to sleep. And in the morning, when we woke up, there were all around, we could hear sounds of guns. And I was supposed to leave Bor that morning, heading back to Juba. No plane could ride at Juba airport then.
And let me ask, you've been assigned to this area. How long were you supposed to stay in this workstation? Like maybe doing
just
this
for a night.
Okay.
I worked on Sunday. I was supposed to go back on Monday morning. So I was not supposed to stay there. because I had many other assignments. I was supposed to go to Munuki, I was supposed to go to Marakal, and many other stations in Juba. So this was the second one. From Juba to Bor, then I was supposed to go to Munuki, I got to Marakal, and many others. So in the morning, I was told that I cannot go back to Juba because we could not ride at Juba airport because of the coup. And from there, life changed. I stayed in that hotel like 4 days. Now the second night we were told that we should spend the night with other people, not sio peke yangu kwa room. So tukakusanyika sisi wa Kenya, tukachapa story for the second night tukiwa pamoja.
Were they giving you foods, anything?
Yes, we were given food, but because they could not go and buy more food.
Yeah.
As time goes by, food ilikuwa inapungua kwa hoteli. But for the second night it was well. Tukakula chakula, tukaenda kwa rooms, tukachapa story, and we did not sleep the whole night. We could hear gunshots from afar. Now, the third night ikakufika. I was a believer, and there's something that has been in me. In most of the jobs that I did, I had worked in hostel places, but not like hapa Juba, the way Bor was. So nikiwa hapo, nikaambia wenzangu, I won't spend another night kama nimekaa chini. Because even during the day we could not sleep. Because of, I'm new there, I don't know what will happen. So even during the day we could not sleep. So I was very sleepy. I told my friends, no, I won't spend another night seated down. So go to the next room. I want to spend my night here and I will sleep. I went to bed. I slept. But let me tell you, at around 2 a.m. nikasikia mlango yangu imenokiwa. Nikaenda kuswitch on the light, and the lights were off. I was like, what is happening? But the person who knocked the door mentioned my name, told me, Steve, get out. So remember, I'm very new in this place. I don't know even hapo nje ya hoteli sijui. Sijui uko kwa barabara ni nini inaendelea. So I woke up, nikaenda kufungua mlango, and when I opened the door, I saw vehicles of senior government employees that were living in that hotel, and other colleagues that were there, moving into the vehicles, planning to run to safety. So me, I just took my laptop bag, nikakimbia. I got in one of the hotels. Even my manager wa ile bank nilikuwa nafanyia kazi alikuwa na spend kwa hiyo hoteli. Remember, in Sudan it's not like here in Kenya, whereby wewe ukitoka job unaenda kwako unakodishwa nyumba. Most of the employees, they live in hotels, mostly wale wa banks. So the manager used to spend it to live in that hotel. So akaniita, I went to the bank. The bank has hizi magari kubwa inaitwa, I think it's a Toyota Land Cruiser. Nikaingia, and we started our journey. I did not know where they are taking us. It is at 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. And we started our journey. Kulikuwa na mapolisi walikuwa huko wakakaria kwa gari juu, yes, providing protection. I came to realize wakati tulitokea kwa main road, what I saw, I usually say I've never seen it there before. It reminds me about the children of Israel. Kwa barabara ilikuwa barabara kubwa. I saw thousands and thousands, people going to all directions, some moving up, others going down. Some carrying their beddings, goats, cows, everything. let me tell you, because some of the people that I was with, they knew the place very well, and we were driven to a certain forest. Tulipofika huko kwa forest, zote tukashuka. Zilikuwa gari mingi. I think zile gari zote zilikuwa kwa hoteli. We were all driven to that forest, in the middle of forest. Zote tukashuka. Sasa ukishuka, hatukuwa tunajua where to go, because they were telling us now the rebels were in Bor town.
So that's why they had to take you out of the hotel.
And they were targeting all the government officials. And that's why hata hawa watu wa serikali wote tulikuwa huko. So tukiwa huko, we stayed, I think up until around, it was in the morning around 5, from 2 to 5. And even the person who yule alikuwa manager wa the airport in Bor, tulikuwa na yeye, the in charge. So they called UN, and UN came for our rescue. From there, when UN came in the morning, we were taken to United Nations missions in South Sudan, UNIMIS. UNIMIS it is a very funny place, because it's like a field guarded by UN. And because there before, I think South Sudan had not experienced such fight. So there before, that was like a forest guarded by United Nations, and they had their houses there. So when they because of this attack, wakachukua matrakta zao wakalima. So sisi wakati tulienda, what I saw, sisi tuliingia kama mahali kwa shamba, and we were left there, though guarded by the UN police.
Now you're in this place, mko hapa kwa camp. Things getting better. Was there a sigh of relief?
Let me tell you something I forgot to mention.
Yes.
When we were leaving the forest, now heading to UNIMIS, UNIMIS is just next to the Bor airport.
Yeah.
Already the rebels had taken the Bor airport. And what I saw, I've never seen it in my life. I saw dead bodies lying, because
what?
The rebels had already taken, and they were killing those people who are not from their tribe. So what I saw, I've never seen it again.
Dead bodies across the road.
Yes. And you know, South Sudan is very hot. They were lying. I could see bodies of animals, bodies of human beings lying on the road. So after that, we got in the camp, the UNIMIS camp. Now the hard life started. I can tell you, when I went there, najua vile tumezoea. Remember, I went there as an engineer. I had very nice clothes. When you get there, tulipelekwa kama uwanja imelimwa. Ni mchanga. It's like red soil. So now I had my own laptop bag. Sasa wewe ukiangalia mahali unakalia, unajua umepelekwa tu kwa uwanja, and in that field we were 20,000.
What? 20,000.
Sasa nikifika hapo, unasimama na kabag kako, huwezi kalia mchanga. There's no one akushughulikia or anything. All of you are learning for your safety. So unasimama, unachoka, na unaketi chini. After that unakaa hapo, unasema huwezi lala. So I found myself doing everything, lying kwa mchanga without fear, ama kuogopa ati nitachafuka, and life changed.
And let me ask, kulikuwa na shed, like were they giving you tents?
Let me tell you, there were no tents. That place, 20,000, na ni kitu sio kitu ilikuwa imetarajiwa. So it was not expected.
Yes.
Such a thing will happen.
Yes.
So there were no tents. South Sudan is very hot. There are no trees, only shrubs. And 20,000 kwa hiyo shrub, na ni moja hapa ingine pale. So unakaa kwa jua. And let me tell you, South Sudan is temperature za huko zinakuanga juu. When you stay outside, unasikia tu kama joto inakuja kwa hewa, iko moto, iko na joto.
Yes.
So nakaa huko mpaka unazoea. So I found myself even sleeping huko. Remember, in that camp there were makeshift toilets that were made that morning. Watu wanaoga nje. So 20,000, and I think there were like around, there were less than 8 toilets, and you are 20,000.
8 toilets serving 20,000 people.
Yes.
That is crazy.
It was a mess. I've never seen it in my life. So, and you know where we come from, hii mambo ya kuoga kwa uwanja ukitazama na 20,000.
Yes.
Si haikuwa easy.
Yeah.
So me, I used to kulala hivyo bila hata kuoga. I stayed there for 1.5 weeks. What they used to provide is a 300 ml of water in the morning. Kulikuwa na tankers. So you can imagine the whole day and how the sun was very hot.
Yes.
Hata usikii kama umekunywa, ni kama tu kitu kidogo. And then there was no food.
So for a whole week you didn't eat anything?
Yes, for a whole week I didn't take anything. 20,000. Where are you going to get food for them?
Oh my God.
All the shops in the area had closed, and most of them zilikuwa vandalized. So
was it a mixture? Were there kids there and
yes?
So watoto walikuwa na survive aje?
Yes, I saw mothers suffering with their children. There was no way. Those who are able to run to safety with their food, those who reside in those areas, they had maybe a little for the children, but majority we had nothing. We survived on 300 ml of water per day.
Where?
So it was tough.
Were there people who really couldn't survive in that area?
Well, inside the camp, I didn't see any mtu alikufa ama anything, but outside, because we could see outside, we could see dead bodies rotting. There was no one to collect the bodies, so they were rotting around the roads. So, you know, as people who are, as a person who was brought up in godly ways,
yes,
I started ministering, imagine, and I could speak to people about Jesus.
And you are hungry.
And I'm hungry. And I'm also in the same problem with them. But I started talking to them about the love of Jesus. And after a while, you know, this police, UN police, there was a fence between now the camp where they used to reside. Now the senior most people in the government, they were taken to those side, mahali hawa watu wa askari wa UN walikuwa wanakaa. They were given maybe a better place to spend. You know, in South Sudan watu wanajenga nyumba za we call them containers house, na zinawekelewa kwa mawe, so pale chini kuna kama shimo.
Yes,
because wanawekelea kwa mawe. Sasa wao walikuwa wanakaa hiyo side ingine. There was water there, they could shower. Only food hawangepata. So some of us, because we are from Kenya, na sasa huko sisi ni kama tumekuja kazi, we used to go to plead with those UN police. Even me, I went, and many of us people from Kenya and all over, we used to go and plead now if they could give us access, go on the other side.
And let me ask, were you able to communicate to your family?
Because at that point I used to communicate to my wife and my brothers and sisters.
How? Were you using the phone? Or?
Yes, when I went there, the first thing, because that job was supposed to take like a month or so.
Yeah,
I bought a card, a SIM card, yeah, South Sudan.
Yes.
So I had given them my contact, so they could reach me through that contact. And I think the other thing that was good, I had a kamulika mwizi. So you know kamulika mwizi akamalizi battery haraka. So my battery ilikaa kwa muda. bila simu kuzima. It is not like this one that you use the iPhones and
So when you're communicating to your wife and also to your, to your siblings as well, and to your friends here in Kenya, what were you telling them, and were they trying to help as well?
I could update them on what is happening. And in actual fact, I have a brother in US and others were in Kenya. They tried to help. And I have a friend of ours who works for United Nations. They tried to contact him, but there's no way he could help because no plane, no vehicle could come to Ball at that time. So there was no help.
Wow, there's no help.
There was no help.
96.9 FM, Pearl Radio.